development phase is articulating the brand story that you want to tell. That sounds easier than it might be because many companies, many brands have copious amounts of information that very well may be interesting to the inside folks, and it's not really relevant to the outside folks. So the critical point of the development phase is to understand what your critical assets are to convey your story in a way that's authentic and drives meaningful engagement. Every time that you think about telling a brand story, you want to have a crisp and clearly articulated narrative that's going to make sure you're pulling through this analogy that you get butts in seats. The second most critical step in this very important development phase is something that most people often forget, or they don't realize the importance of it, and that's analyzing in real time the culture that you're communicating to. Today's culture moves at the speed of light. And if you don't assess the culture that you're speaking to in real time, your brand narrative or story will most likely fall on deaf ears. So really taking a moment to pause and understand the environment in which you're communicating, particularly as we've never been in a more a period of time in history where commerce has been influenced by culture. Step 3 in the development phase is centered around the theme that is driving this whole discussion: collaboration. When you build a meaningful brand story of any kind, it requires consensus and participation from all levels of the organization. If you just do a top-down approach to developing a narrative and developing a brand story, it's likely again to fall on deaf ears. Today, more than ever, organizations need to be flattened and voices need to be heard regardless of rank or geography. The fourth part of developing a brand story is probably the most important, or the biggest change that I think a lot of people are losing sight of. And that is, today, to tell a compelling brand story, it's less about what you do than it is about who you are. There's a very simple reason for that people may not realize, and that is that every industry has become really commoditized. So by price point, when you're looking to purchase something by product or by service at the same price point, it's really not that different from an actual product or service lens. What makes it different is the brand experience. Step 5 is where you cast your film. This is where you find the right people throughout the organization who are going to be the characters of your story. Today, every brand, as I'm telling you, should be viewed almost as an executive production, and it's as important that you find the right characters to tell your story in meaningful ways so that people can really understand different points of view and really have an affinity for the people that are your storytellers. Step 6 sounds simple, but it's not. A lot of people will tell you that they do research before they begin an endeavor, and I believe that they do, but I think they do research to understand how they should shape a campaign, or more about the what component, as opposed to really understanding where a brand is at through the lens of engagement. Today, it's not about impressions, it's not about how many people that you reach on Twitter, because at the end of the day, if you don't drive engagement and leverage this content platform approach to use marketing as a lever to achieve desired business outcomes, then it really doesn't matter. So make sure that before you set your ship on its course, that you really understand the position from which you're beginning so that you can actually see where it is you want to go and how you get there.